So we're looking at Airship Escort, of course. Yesterday, we had a crazy full DPM Salem. This time we're going a little bit more reasonable with an Ohio. I'm sure this is one of the first ships you guys thought of when it came to this game mode, a brawling, tanky secondary battleship in a game mode where people are forced to push in. And surprising no one, it works reasonably well. It really does seem like this game mode, you can run really specific builds. I have a more standard build here. I just took my randoms captain and threw the Ohio in here, and we're going to do reasonably well. Our secondaries have pretty good range here, decent accuracy, but they're really not going to do a ton of damage to battleships because they don't actually pen battleship armor. It's only superstructures that we can pen with the Ohio. So that would be something I take into account on these secondary builds. I might try and focus on more DPM. I might even give up some healing and concealment just to go full out on all the DPM we could possibly get out of this ship. But it's a lot of fun playing these battleships. As you can see, Kremlin pushing in, Preussen pushing in. There's even an Izumo back there as well. Our depth charges managed to actually get the submarine. That's a great start for us if we want to be pushing in. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the airships and how they work in this video a little bit later. But the speed increase that you can get if you play it right is monstrous. So if you want to be helping your team win games, there's a few things you want to be looking for when it comes to these circles. But when it comes to the Ohio, I found it to be all right. I think that the Preussen would actually do a better job in this situation. You'll notice I'm not committing too aggressively here. I'm trying to limit the number of people that can shoot at me, and that's what you're going to want to do a lot of times in these secondary brawling battleships. Well, yes, you have a ton of HP, and you're quite tanky. You have a lot of secondaries on some of these. Just notice how quickly our Preussen actually ends up going down here. He's very exposed to basically the entire enemy team. He's pushed aggressively, which is helping speed up our airship, as you can see. 30 knots versus 6 knots. Pretty ridiculous speed increase there. But it's really important, I think, to limit the number of people shooting at you. I talk about this every time I go over a brawling battleship video. You gotta think about the island cover and who is able to shoot at you. You want to take the most favorable fights that you possibly can. So now that we're kind of done the initial brawl here, we have to deal with the flank. I've noticed in a lot of these games that people flanking are incredibly powerful. And I actually have a game where I flanked extremely hard and did really, really well. We'll probably look at that one in the next couple of days. But the Ohio here, a really solid central kind of capital ship. You don't need to necessarily be on the flanks here. This ship can do a lot of good work at close range. And its guns are more than accurate enough and powerful enough to reach out and hit the flanks. Although, you do have to aim and actually lead your targets properly. Bourgognes are pretty quick, so we can't actually underlead them. It's very easy to do that. Pushing forward here, our Preussen almost dead already. I admittedly could have pushed up a little more aggressively to help him out. That is definitely a possibility here, but I don't want to overcommit. This is not my first Ohio game that I played in this Airship Escort mode. A lot of them I overcommitted and died very, very quickly. So I was trying to take my time, make good plays. So we find ourselves a Holland, but we don't shoot him. Why? Because we want to take out the Izumo. This is a great way to deal with cruisers bow in like this. Just aim for that front citadel and hope you get decent dispersion. That's quite a lot of ships that died, actually, right there. 4 of our teammates go down for 1 of the enemy team. Not an amazing trade, but we are in the enemy's airship circle here. So this is the real power that you can have as this ultra tanky brawling battleship. Assuming you're in a position where you're not just going to die extremely quickly. Notice just how fast our airship is going. 30 knots is kind of ridiculous. There's a lot of ships that actually can't even go 30 knots in this game. If I was in our own airship circle as an Ohio, I couldn't keep up with it. It's really, really, really fast. So this is how you're going to win a lot of games, I think, as a ship that spawns closer to the start of the airship zone, right? On this map especially, where the airships kind of just meet in the middle at the very beginning like this, if you're able to gain control of that middle initial engagement like we did in this game, it just snowballs so quickly from here. So something to be looking out for sure as that brawling battleship. Sometimes as a DD, you can sneak up to this circle as well on the opposite side of an island, depending on how Wargaming has actually done the cap zones or the airship zones. You can be a DD on the opposite side of an island, totally safe, stalling out the enemy's airship and boosting the speed of your own. It's kind of ridiculous. Look at how much farther ahead our airship is now. It's so quick. So make sure you're looking out for that when you're playing these game modes. Don't throw your ship away to do it. But in a situation like this, on this map in particular, there's a nice little safe alcove here that you can just go for. I'm lucky I had a Shima with me, certainly. This Richelieu probably would just come and ram me. So I probably would have died here anyway. Although I do think that we would have given our team enough of an advantage that we probably just would have won anyway. Notice our Smalin just escorting the airship all the way to victory here. We swap over to the HE. This is one of the powerful things about the Ohio, especially if you have one of the better commanders, right? You can hot swap over from your AP to your HE and do an insane amount of damage to DDs. You'll notice I'm also trying to manage my turrets as well. You can have your front turrets looking almost straight forward, your rear turrets looking almost straight back, and you can actually hold them by constantly barely swapping your turrets to turn either to the left side or the right side of your ship. Dodge the Holland torps, dodge the Shima torps. We do get a little bit fortunate that the Holland missed his salvo, but the Shima was never going to hit us as we turned past this island. 150k damage already. And yeah, that's just going to be a nice, easy win. I didn't even use a heal in this one. This is what I'm talking about, where if I'm playing smart around these islands and doing a good job on my positioning, I'm probably not going to get through 5 heals. And honestly, a lot of the games, I'm probably not going to get to 5 heals anyway, because I'm either going to die or the game's going to be over. So these specialized builds are something that I'm going to start to work on when it comes to this Airship Escort mode. But you can do a randoms build and have a ton of success as well. And Ohio definitely did some decent things in this game. So even though I do have a randoms build here, I would consider dropping even things like my Artillery Plotting Room Mod 2 for even a main gun reload. Since these very close range fights, you're tending to hit your targets regardless at these, sub 7 kilometer ranges. I'm not sure if I'm totally going to do that yet. I would still take Secondary Battery Mod, but I'd probably still keep aiming systems. Let's be honest, I complain about aiming too much or the dispersion. I have to take a full accuracy build. But I might even drop these secondaries. I don't know if at the very end there, I was looking at the secondary damage output. Hundreds of hits against those battleships and hardly any damage. So the damage from those secondaries really came against DDs at really close ranges. And a lot of the times we didn't actually have the time to gain our aiming buff, right? The DDs went dark a little bit too quickly, and we weren't actually able to make use of manually secondary battery aiming. So instead of this, maybe I swap over and take close quarters combat. Maybe instead of those extra heals that I didn't use, maybe I take Furious, for example. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I'm going to be trying a lot of different things out. I think Vigilance is probably a great skill to take. Although maybe we go with the recommended Wargaming build, as you can see by these little orange triangles in the corner. Maybe we want a full AA build trying to deal with carriers, because that is something we do have to deal with in this game mode. So, I don't know. I'm going to be messing around, but as you can see, even just the standard randoms build works extremely well. A lot of it comes down to positioning more than the build. Ohio, definitely a very strong ship. I'll be trying out some of the other secondary battleships as well in this game mode. Schlieffen definitely should do extremely well. I think even Preussen can do a decent job if we get it in the right scenarios. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you're enjoying Airship Escort. Definitely give it a go. Lots and lots of fun to be had there. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.